You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
We may lose some listeners. We may get cancelled. But it's got to be said. Is it Leon guy from MMA?
Nah, bro. Listen, I will not tolerate any bad talk on Leon Edwards, bro. So if whatever you got to say, you might as well not even say it right now, bro.
I have to say it. So I have family from Birmingham, where he's from. Not Birmingham, Birmingham. And my family in London, that Birmingham accent, I find it funny. So when I heard him speak, I was like, nah, this ain't going to work. I can't take anyone from Birmingham seriously. I'm sure in the States there's an accent which is like, no, that accent, like from over there, I don't deal with. So for me personally, the Birmingham accent, not for me at all. But that's just me.
Bruh, Leon Edwards is my dog through and through, man. Hey, we got a fantasy football episode right now. By the time y'all see this, it's going to be like, y'all just got to go check it out. Not only do we have a fantasy football episode, we're going to tell you who the go-tos are for the Dolphins, who the people you want to stay away from the Dolphins. This is it right here. It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. I got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. I like it. Kadeem, man. So you didn't check out none of the links that I sent you?
I saw the first one, heard the accent, and I was like, I'm not doing this. So I haven't seen the second one. I finally seen the knockout. Listen, before we talk MMA, just got to put it out there. We reached 500 subs on YouTube. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much. Because when we started this, we have goals, we have dreams, but we're just two fans. We're two fans talking Miami Dolphins, and to know that the 500 of you out there subscribe to us, it genuinely means the world to us. Hopefully, we'll get 500 more, and then 500 more, and 500 more. So, I'm sure I think on behalf of Charlie and the rest of the Go Time Dolphins team, thank you very much for working with us.
Hey, listen. This podcast started with me and Kadeem just sending voice notes to each other, then phone calls, and then we said we might as well just record our phone calls since we talk about the Dolphins so much. So we appreciate the 500 subs, and we're going to keep going to 500 more. Y'all already know what time it is. We got a guest on the show today, man. This person won the Go Time Dolphins Fantasy Football League last year. I did not like it, but hey, it is what it is. We might as well bring him in right now. Shout out to the returning champ of the Go Time Dolphins Fantasy Football League, Nick. Wait for it, Kerr. What up, bro?
What's up, guys? Happy to be here.
Hey,
Can't
bro,
wait for this. Yeah.
I already came in and messed you up like a bad host, man. Look, so you had just came in and you were waiting in the room and we were like, oh, we didn't even see each other and stuff like that. But from what I understand, bro, we went to the same high school, right?
Yeah, we did.
Did I graduate before you got there, or how did that work?
I graduated 01. When did you graduate?
You graduated 01?
I graduated 01.
Oh, I graduated 02.
Okay. Yeah, so you're in my sister-in-law's grade.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was supposed to graduate 01. You know what I'm saying? No, but I had a detour. You know what I'm saying? I had to reevaluate some things. But and then, long story short, I got a movie coming out about myself. But you know what I'm saying? Hey, yeah, man. So, bruh, fantasy football. Before we get into fantasy football, how did you become a Dolphin fan, bro?
See, my journey to becoming a Dolphin fan isn't as easy as it was for most other kids growing up in South Florida. My dad was a Cowboys fan. So me becoming a Dolphins fan, I didn't really watch football until I was in like 6th grade. I met my friend Billy, ended up going over his house. His dad was a huge Dolphins fan. So it just picked up. And since then, 30 years later, still with it. Got season tickets. Had season tickets for the last 3 years.
Bro, you know what? I kind of had to go back real quick because I'm trying to think if I remember you in school or not, bro. Like that, because just because you graduated a year before me doesn't mean, like, you know what I'm saying? So we probably had to see each other.
Yeah, I think we probably saw each other in school, but I know we met one time because we got a mutual friend.
Yeah.
And I was hanging out in their garage, and you came by. I think you were doing some music video. You came to get some Dolphins mask. But it was probably like maybe 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah. So I was doing a video. You talk about Hoover.
Yep.
Okay. Shout out to Hoover,
I lived right down the street from him.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to Vendetta. He was like a Dolphins mascot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so look, man. Dolphin circle tight around here, Kadeem. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to tell you, bro. We run into people we didn't even know was, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all still affiliated, bro. Hey.
It's fine. I've got 5 Yard Lee in London. I've now got Jason as well, so it's all good.
Hey, I like it, bro. I like it. Dude, he's talking about Vendetta. He was like a Dolphins mascot. There's like a Dolphins mascot section at Hard Rock Stadium to watch the games. That's where Papa Pump is. That's where all of the crazy looking Dolphin fans are. And he was one of them.
Is that where that Doe Freak in that lot is?
I don't know if she sits in that same section. But
yeah, I think it's called like the Deep End or something like that.
Yeah.
Where all the crazy Dolphin fans sit.
Yeah. So hey, shout out to Vendetta, man. Nick, bro. We not just gonna dive into fantasy football. What do you think? What do you think our team looking like so far? Like just preseason right now. What do you make of the preseason? Matter of fact, you went to the Raiders game, right?
Yes, I was at the Raiders game.
You invited us to go to the Raiders game, and Kadeem was supposed to be in Florida right now, and it didn't happen. You know, Kadeem is still across the pond. I'm not even in Florida right now, and we had to cancel on you. Like, yo, we're not gonna be able to make it. We appreciate you reaching out to us. You know what I'm saying? So now that we got you on the podcast, thank you, Holmes. Thank you for the invite, bro. Sometimes the appreciation, like, we appreciate the appreciation. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate you. You feel
the
me?
offer's still good. If you can make it to a game this year, I know Kadeem, it'll probably be hard for you to come over to the States for a game, but if you can make it out to a game, let me know.
Hey, that's what's up, man. So you were at the preseason game, the Raiders game.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you've seen the Tampa game. What do you make of everything in training camp and all the social media images and stuff like that? What do you make of the team right now, how we're playing?
We're not going to have that same vanilla offense that we've had for the last however many years. I like the concepts that McDaniel's bringing over from Shanahan. I expect the run game to be a lot better than it's been. And I'm excited for Tua. He's got all these weapons. I think he's just going to be spreading the ball around everywhere. And it's going to be nice.
When you say I expect the run game to be better than what it used to be, do you mean like the teams prior, or do you mean you expect the running game to be better than what it has been in the preseasons too?
Oh, like, it should for sure be better than it's been in the preseason, because we don't have our full starting lineup of offensive line. Plus, Mostert hasn't played at all, and we've only seen glimpses of Chase Edmonds. I think that McDaniel is holding everything back. I think he wants people that are going to have to really do their research to figure out what we're going to be doing. He doesn't want to show it in preseason.
So McDaniel spoke on Tuesday and the run game came up, and he essentially said he's not scheming anything in the run game because he wants to see what people can be like, basically in the basics, very much, ball handed off, run. How good are you just running the ball? He also touched upon playing loads of man defense and all that kind of stuff. But the run game in particular, this is now coming across, and my opinion of it is, if worst comes to worst and we can't scheme something, I need to generally just run the ball, and you can run the ball well. because if you can't just run the ball as a basic running back, yeah, we can scheme stuff for you, but you clearly aren't that good. That's my take of it. And McDaniel kind of touched upon that. And very quickly, there is some breaking, not breaking news, there is some news from.
Hold on. Is it still going to be breaking when we put this podcast out, bro?
You just let me finish. I said it's not breaking news.
Hey, Kadeem, you so good for this, bro. Hey, Nick, bro. No, you so good for this, bro.
Listen, right, you don't need to argue like this because we've got a guest on. I misspoke when I said breaking, which is why I pulled it back straight away. I never meant to say breaking. I meant to say that there's news, which, in case you haven't seen it, because we haven't discussed it yet. And to me, it's the kind of question in which I genuinely want to get both your opinions on. Mackenzie Alexander, who just came in, is now done for the season. Season done. Played one game against the Raiders, done. So my question to Nick was, who would you like the Dolphins to come in to bring in at cornerback, given that we've now lost another corner? So very quickly, apologize for saying breaking. Didn't mean to say it. Charlie, if you slow down for 2 secs, you would have heard me apologize for saying breaking.
I'm just saying, you always breaking some stuff, and our show comes out, and it's a whole 16 hours late. Like, yo, is it still going to be breaking when they hear it? Could it have waited for bonus time? Like, oh, yeah, by the way, we'll cover this too, because by the time they hear it, it won't be news anymore. But we were going to bring that up. So Mackenzie Alexander, the guy that I was looking forward to seeing because I felt like he was better than Trill Williams, although I like Trill Williams. I thought he was going to be an actual piece for depth for the DBs. I'll let you go ahead and answer the question, Nick. I don't remember what Kadeem's question was, but how do you feel about our DBs right now?
I mean, we still got Howard, Jones, and Needham, our top three. So anyone we bring in is going to be competing for 4 or 5 spots. And worst case, which hopefully it doesn't happen, we got Noah as number 6. I was honestly really high on Noah coming into this offseason because I thought between Sam Madison and Pat Surtain that they were going to get the best out of him, but he hasn't been producing. He's been picked on both preseason games. So I think unless we can't find someone to bring in, I think we might be stuck with Noah on the team.
I mean, man, I know Josh Kasker listens to this podcast. Shout out to Same Old Dolphins. And we were on the Same Old Dolphins, and I was concerned about the depth of our DBs. I think we're extremely top heavy, but I actually do think we have the best duo in football, which is Jones and X. But I think it's top heavy. What happens when a couple people go down? Turns out Nick Needham's going to be fine. His hand or finger or whether it's a dislocation or whatnot, it's going to be fine. It's not going to be an issue. But what now? That's 2 people, three people behind him that went down. So it's like 17 games. You know what I'm saying? We got 17 weeks, bro. I don't know if you guys are watching Hard Knocks, but in the first episode of the Hard Knocks, former coach of the Miami Dolphins, Dan Campbell said, "Yo, this is the healthiest y'all going to be for the rest of the season. You're not going to be no more healthier than what you are right now for the rest of the season. So everybody's going to be dinged up and nicked up, and no one's ever going to be 100% ever again." So, yeah, man, I don't love it, but it is what it is. Since we're on preseason, Green Bay aren't playing their starters in the last preseason game against KC. What do you think we are? You got to see it firsthand, Nick. You were at the stadium and you seen it with your own eyes. Do you think we need to play our starters, or do you think we still need some more reps? Should we sit them?
I think we're going to end up sitting them because we do have this joint practice with the Eagles. I think the coaching staff's going to see everything they want to see between those 2 days of practice. I don't think there's anything to benefit from actually seeing them in the preseason game. If anything, it's just more of a risk of players getting hurt.
What do
you think, Kadeem?
Yeah, McDaniel again asked about the starters, and again he kind of said he'll assess it come the end of the week. He did say that the benefits of joint practices is you can run plays designed for certain situations. In a game, Tua might play 3 series and never get into the red zone. So you can't test red zone out in a preseason game, but you can test it in joint practice. So I will expect and assume the Dolphins to once again use the joint practices to get the most out of the starters, and then come Saturday, whenever the game is, they'll probably suit up and then jump before kickoff. Mike will go, do you know what? Actually, no, not doing it. And I think given we've lost in back-to-back games, Trill Williams and now Mackenzie Alexander, who weren't starters, I think you can say, do you know what? I'm not risking it. I am not losing a single starter. Again, we'll use this last preseason game to take a look at the guys who are on the roster bubble, because we've cut Sheldrick, Redwine, and a few others on Tuesday. So it's like, you know what? I need to see those last 7, 8, 9, 10 positions players. Who's going to, once again ball out today? Be it a Port Augustine, that wide receiver battle is going to be so interesting. Can Skylar Thompson make it 3 out of 3 games where he plays well? I can't see us playing many starters, if any.
Man, I was gonna say shout out to Sheldrick Redwine. He rocked with us on IG. Man, you kind of want to see people stay around forever, but that's not the nature of the business. NFL stands for not for long. What do you make about the depth on with the receivers, Nick? What do you know what? Give us the state of the Dolphins. What's your state of the Dolphins? What do you make of the team right now? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is not going to happen?
I think that we do use some of it, since we have so many receivers that could make this team. We do start using some of those toward the back end of the roster to start trading them, maybe like Preston Williams, Lynn Bowden. I'd like to see Lynn Bowden stay on the team, but maybe try to use some of these assets that we have an abundance of to get some cornerback help, to get some O-line help. Because I feel like right now, those are probably 2 weakest positions, is O-line and cornerback.
Yeah, no, I think O-line is way more of a priority. I don't think, man, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if O-line. I mean, I don't know if corner will be addressed the way it was with Mackenzie Alexander. I don't think they're going to say, all right, we need to put more money into the DBs when they can address corner. Or we're about to find out. Everybody got to be cut down to 53 next week.
I think so.
Yeah, next week. So there's gonna be some names that hit the market. The Raiders are already talking about releasing Kenyon Drake, and the reason why they said they wanted to release Kenyon Drake is to see if another team becomes interested before they release him. Almost like fantasy football. Perfect segue. You know what I'm saying? Before I drop somebody, I try to shop him. Like, hey, I'm about to release this guy. You want to trade him? You want me to trade him so you don't got to fight through him on waivers? You feel me? So, and this is not the sexiest position to start, but since we talked about the team already, and I really want to know how you feel about this person, Nick, how you feel about Jason Sanders, bro? Like in real life, not fantasy football. Like what Jason Sanders you think we're going to get this year?
I mean, I'm hoping it's that even year Jason Sanders you keep talking about, but when he misses that 46-yarder at the end of the game, it brings back some of those odd year vibes. I mean, he looked good in the first preseason game. He hit 4 field goals. He started off well in the second one. I mean, I think this could be that even year Jason Sanders that we see. That one miss was just a blip.
Hit from 52 and 53 too in that first game. I mean, yeah, man, I don't know. All right, what do you think about Jason Sanders in fantasy?
I think the Dolphins could put up some points this year. So having Jason Sanders, and I mean, hopefully we're getting more touchdowns than field goals.
Yep.
You could do worse because at least he's consistent in those even years.
All right, I got a co-host, right, that almost messed up the league that we were in last year. He was just a position feel like he just was there. Sometimes almost didn't set his roster. I had to hit him up like, hey, bro, I know your team is trash, and I know you're not the best fantasy football player, but some of us are trying to attain a championship. Can you please set your roster? Can you tell Kadeem how much of a sin it is to not set your roster when your team is trash in fantasy football?
It is a huge sin, especially when you see teams going out there with starting people on their bye week and they have starters on the bench. I mean, if you're playing that team, it's always nice. But if you're going against someone that you want to lose, that really stinks.
See, this is why I'm not doing fantasy football this year. I played fantasy football like the UK soccer version for years, and just through like natural busy weeks and stuff like that, I sometimes forget to set my team, and then it gets to a point in the season where I'm like, you know what, I don't care no more, and I stop. So, and it's I know so many people who play fantasy football, both NFL and Premier League version, and they all have that same conversation. Oh snap! It's Saturday morning. I didn't set my team. I've got 4 players out missing. Oh well, it is what it is. So I come from a group of friends who are very much like, I've got to set my team. Oh well, it is what it is. And I've got Charlie just like, Kadeem, set your team. I'm like, dude, like I get it. Like, leave me alone now. Like, so I said, you know what? I'm gonna back myself out. The only way I return is if instead of a ring, we're playing for a belt, like a WWE belt, and I'll be back. I'll win it and I'll retire. I'll have it up in the air like I'm The Rock, like I'm Stone Cold, and then I'll keep it moving. So when you get the belt involved, I'll be involved. Until then, I'll sit back, and when Charlie loses again, I'll laugh at him. I think that's fair.
Like Leon Edwards held the belt up that he just won. See, you could have tied it in there, bro. That's your boy. He's from England, Kadeem. Jamaican in England like you are, bro.
Listen, again, he's from Birmingham. I don't vote for people from Birmingham. I just don't do it. And I'll say it to my family from Birmingham as well. If you're listening, I don't want to hear your voice. It is that simple. You make me laugh when you talk. I can't help it.
Hey, we got some what accent over here, Nick, do you hate? Like, yo, I don't like these people accent in the States.
Definitely New York accent.
It's the New York accent, bro. I was gonna go with New York, but it's the New York accent. I don't want y'all boys at the state, bro. When I was growing up, we used to always go to the Jet game because like half the family was from New York, so half of them were Jet fans, and the other half were Dolphin fans. And we went to every home game there was against the Jets, right? And we didn't always beat them, and I hated it, bro. And I had to listen to their yo son accent, a son. And all that, nah, bro. Keep it moving, Holmes. I hated it with a passion. But yeah, man. So yeah, I kind of feel you, Kadeem. But this is your guy, man. This dog, he's gonna have a movie, Kadeem. Leon Edwards gonna have a movie, bro. Matter of fact, he might be fighting early next year, 2023, and I might be coming to London just to watch the fight, Holmes. So hey, just know that.
Hold on, before we get into fantasy stuff, if this guy releases a movie, you think I'm going to watch it? Mr. I don't watch movies as it is. I am not going to go and watch a movie about a guy from Birmingham in a sport I don't care about. Charlie Walton will go watch it. I'm not going to go watch it. When the next Batman movie comes out, I'll be there front and center. A UFC movie about a guy from Birmingham, I really couldn't care less.
Nick, man, where we going to start with fantasy? Let's start with the head of the helm. The guy that's has the reins on the team, bro. It's up to him. Make or break. It's either if this dude performs, then everybody else performs, and if he don't perform, then everybody else is not even rosterable. What will Tua look like in fantasy football this year?
I think Tua is going to look good in fantasy football because he's going to get those quick, accurate passes out to these guys with speed. When they think he's going to be coming out with that, he'll drop back, hit Tyreek or Waddle deep. I could see Tua putting up over 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns.
Hey, don't say that on this podcast because I said 35 touchdowns before, and Kadeem looked at me crazy. Kadeem, 35 with the accent, with his accent, 35. Like
that's Australian.
30. Hey, my dog got hurt. They can't protect him, and I'm not sure that this O-line can protect him either. And I'm y'all know I'm a very positive person, and I have concerns about this O-line. So yeah, man, 35 is doable. I could believe 35 touchdowns. I think I'll let you go, Kadeem. What do you think? How many touchdowns do you think Tua throws up this year, Kadeem?
About 25.
So our friends over at DraftKings, they got him at 25.5 for the season. You taking the over or the under, Kadeem?
It's 25 or 25.5.
25.5. Yeah, y'all do use half numbers in
Yeah.
Okay, because I did say 25.5 the first time, and you said, was it 25 or 25? So I wasn't sure if you knew what a half was.
Nick, you see what I'm gonna do with? Like, wait,
I mean, your guys' banter is part of the reason why I tune in each episode.
I'm gonna go with the under, but I think like he
you see that he just said, "Oh, I think he have about 25." And I said he had the DraftKings number 25.5. Oh, I'm taking the under. Like so that half is what that you afraid of the half, Kadeem?
Do you remember when we had that little wager about Jalen Waddle, how many like kick and punt returns? See, there you go. That face. That's why I'm just taking the under, because I'm not losing when he hits 25. I'm not doing it, so I'm taking the under. If it were 24.5, I'll go over.
So you want to bet, Kadeem?
No, I do not want to bet, because on the betting episode, I said I'm not. Again, I don't bet, because when it's the last game of the season and he's on 25, and I don't know, I'm not even going to put the juju out there, but someone drops a touchdown and he doesn't get 20-26, I'm going to be out and I'm going to have to take someone. Nope, not doing it.
You know what's funny, Kadeem?
What's funny?
You had Tua 20th on your quarterback list. That's why you don't think he's going to throw over 25 touchdowns. I had him 10th on my quarterback list, and that's why he is going to throw over 25 touchdowns. There's a difference. I'm just saying.
Nick, how many touchdowns do you think Tua is going to throw next season or this season?
He just said 35.
I said 30 to 35, and I'll stick with that.
Yeah, man. All right. So if we translate that to in the fantasy football, that means Tua startable to you. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess not necessarily. All right, in a 12-team league, Tua might be startable if we're talking about 30 to 35 touchdowns, because I actually think he runs the ball a little bit more this year, surprisingly. Like, people don't think Tua's running the ball, and he had the hip injury. He's injury prone. But I think Mike McDaniel's going to put him in a place where everyone knows he doesn't run, and he's going to start running a little bit more now than usual. So yeah, that's what we got for Tua. Let's go to the track team. Let's start with Waddle. What did we get from Waddle this year, Kadeem? How many receptions? Does he go for 104 again? Is that a thing? He missed the game last year. Does Waddle go over 104 this time because he played 17 games this year?
I think he goes under, because I think we have a one game this year, and being on the one game, the additions of Tyreek Hill and Cedric Wilson. Yeah, I think he'll still be productive, but on not as many receptions. Because I also think, there'll be plays both him and Tua will look back and go, you could have got an extra 30, 40 yards if things kind of, worked out a bit better. So, yeah, I think he gets under the receptions, but I think he's going to probably get more touchdowns. So that's how I think it'll work out.
DraftKings has him at 5.5. You think he makes 5.5 touchdowns, Kadeem?
I'd hit the over on that.
All right. Where we at, Nick?
I'm going to have to agree with Kadeem right there, because I think he goes under what he did last year in catches, but he probably gets more yards and more touchdowns than he had last year.
So our friends over at DraftKings, and I wasn't going to bring this up until DraftKings Jason came back on, right? But DraftKings Jason had a prop bet put on DraftKings just because of this podcast. Shout out to DraftKings rocking with Go Time Dolphins. So let me pull this up. Let's see. Where is it? Do you have it? Is it in the group chat, Kadeem?
Yeah, I can find it. Give me 2 seconds.
Here it is. I got it. I see it. I don't know if you could pull it up. But DraftKings Jason was on this podcast with 5 Yard Lead from the Dolphin UK podcast. And we were talking about, I said Jalen Waddle would have less than 100 receptions, but more than 1,000 yards. And I also think Tyreek Hill has less than 100 receptions, but more than 1,000 yards. So DraftKings Jason put it in DraftKings, and now we could bet on it. We could just call it the Go Time Dolphins bet, but we won't. So Miami Dolphins win the AFC East. and Jalen Waddle to have over 999.5 regular season receiving yards. Plus 650. That's a lot. Plus 650? That's a lot, bro. You taking that? Anybody taking that? Oh, Kadeem brought it up. That's what's up. So there it is right there. Miami Dolphins to win AFC East and Jalen Waddle to have over 999.5 regular season receiving yards. And then the one above it, 9.5 regular season wins and Jalen Waddle having over 999.5 regular season receiving yards. You taking any one of those, Kadeem?
I would take that second one.
You taking any of them, Kadeem?
I'll say
You like 9.5 wins and over 1,000 yards, basically.
Yeah, I do.
And that plus 650 is how they get you, though, ain't it? Because that plus 650 look real good right now, boy. All right. So let's go to Tyreek Hill. What we looking at? We'll start off with you, Nick. What does Tyreek Hill look like in fantasy this year? I think he's listed as the ninth ranked receiver, and on ESPN platforms. Do you think he comes in as the top 10 receiver in fantasy football?
I think he does. I think he's probably a little low on that list because no one at ESPN believes in Tua. So they think him coming from Patrick Mahomes, coming over to Tua, that he's going to see a decline. But I think having Jalen Waddle on the other side is going to negate that a little bit. And he should have a pretty good season compared to what he had with the Chiefs.
So I won't ask you a fantasy football question, Kadeem, but Tyreek Hill, what's his stat line at the end of the year, regular season?
Oh, Lord knows. You got 9 touchdowns last year, 17 games. I think he'll probably hit the under on that. I think he'll kind of have. I'm gonna go with 8 touchdowns over 1,000 yards. But again, I think he'll be under, not because he'll play worse, but again, Jalen Waddle, the run game, Cedric Wilson, Jerome Smythe, Mike Gesicki was still on the team at that point. So yeah, that's what I reckon. How about you, Nick?
Bro, are you paying attention to the podcast, bro? I thought Nick just gave us his answer.
Did he?
I didn't give actual numbers, but yeah, I still feel like
yo, hold on, Nick. This is bad hospitality.
He didn't give a number.
He's a guest, bro. We supposed to at least pay attention when the guest is talking.
He didn't give a number. Again,
sheesh.
I'd probably go between like 90 and 100 catches, between 1,100 yards, and I'd go with the same with Kadeem, like 8 touchdowns.
All right, so DraftKings has his over/under touchdowns at 8.5, and y'all both came in at 8. So I'm not even going to ask you over/under. How about that, Kadeem? I'm paying attention. So 8.5 touchdowns is what DraftKings has him, and DraftKings has his yards at 1,025.5. So I think he goes over with the yards. But here's the thing, as far as fantasy football goes, I think he's huge in fantasy football. I actually drafted him in one of my main leagues that I play fantasy football in. I think he is in the Deebo Samuel role. Now, I'm going to tell you why. Mike McDaniel came in and said, oh, grab Waddle. Make sure you guys pick up Waddle for fantasy football. He has all kind of stats, all kind of numbers. And I can't remember if that was before or after we signed Tyreek Hill. So I'm thinking now that we got Tyreek Hill, I'm pretty sure he comes in like the Deebo Samuel role, and he's going to have all kind of touches. He had complaints about not getting enough touches in KC, even though they were that Ferrari offense over there. So I think he's going to get all his touches. He's going to get all his looks. He's going to get handoffs in the backfield. It's going to be fantasy football. Just know I drafted him. That's all I'm saying. Hey, you want to plug in the giveaways, Kadeem?
Yeah. Go Time Dolphins currently have 2 giveaways at the moment. They are both running at the same time. The first is a fit to size friend of the podcast, Jalen Waddle jersey. To enter that giveaway, all you have to do is email gotimedolphins@gmail.com with your jersey size. That is it. Nothing more, nothing less. Email gotimedolphins@gmail.com with your jersey size to have a chance of winning a fit to size Jalen Waddle jersey. The second question, or the second giveaway, is a Madden 23 on a platform of your choice, be it Xbox, PlayStation, whatever you guys play these days. To enter that one, once again, email gotimedolphins@gmail.com and let us know how many wide receivers you think the Miami Dolphins will carry on week 1 of the season. So how many wide receivers will the Miami Dolphins carry on their active roster in week 1 of the season? To Go Time Dolphin giveaway, both email to gotimedolphins@gmail.com. And very quickly, Nick, I'm genuinely sorry if I'm repeating questions. It's no disrespect. I am paying attention. I'm clearly just not hearing, but I want to apologize. I don't really think I'm ignoring you. Like, I am fully focused on what
Bruh, it's a joke,
It's all
Kadeem.
good.
You can't
All
take
good.
a joke, Kadeem.
I
Yo, Kadeem be throwing it at me when we not on the podcast, bro. Like all of a sudden, my dog clamming up. You all right, Kadeem? It might be the bucket hat because you shelling up like a shell. Like
I feel like I'm in the sun. I'm sweating a lot, but apart from that, I feel good. Apart from obviously not hearing me right now. Nick, I have a fancy question for you. Are there any Miami Dolphins players who you're like, you know what, I am not going to touch whatsoever? You're not going to draft them, and you would recommend to Miami Dolphins fans not in the Go Time Dolphins League, like, just do not draft this player because they're either not going to get the points or it's not going to be their season.
I mean, I wouldn't drafting. I probably wouldn't touch any of the Dolphins running backs because we don't know if we're going to have running back by committee or if someone's going to be a workhorse and who that workhorse is going to be. So I'd probably stay away from both Chase Edmonds and Mostert.
hey, how you feel about Sonny Michel, like in real life? Do you think he makes the team? Do you think he's just, you know what I'm saying, like he's just holding the spot down on the roster?
I think he's holding a spot down on the roster for now. We might use him as a trade chip, but I'd like to see Dr. White instead.
Yeah, I don't think fantasy football 101. I'm not messing with none of the Dolphins running backs. I think Mostert is worked in. If he was healthy, I think he would win the job, but I don't think he's 100%. Yeah, he's going to be active week 1. Ooh, I think the running back to take, since we have to be on the record, the running back to take, if you're playing fantasy football, is going to be Edmonds for sure. Now, how many touches and receptions does Edmonds get? I don't know. I don't know if it's where is he ranked in I think he's ranked like 98th, like overall 98th and on ESPN. So yeah, I like Edmonds, and it's not that I like Edmonds. I like McDaniel offense. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I'm in on. I'm in on the offense. So if that translates to fantasy football, I do not know for our running backs. So I would say if you can pivot when it comes to running backs, when it's your time to draft and you're in round 7, 8, look elsewhere for your running backs. I can't trust Miami's running backs in fantasy football, but I do think they'll deliver in real life for us. Big question. Go ahead, Kadeem.
Well, second question is a two-parter. The first one, Nick, Mike Gesicki. Are you touching Mike Gesicki in fantasy? Because I know when Mike McDaniel was first hired, everyone was like, tight end guru. This is going to be easy. Mike Gesicki's going to go off, going to cement himself as a top 5 tight end. Right now, it's a bit like, is he even going to be here, week 8, let alone end of the season? Mike McDaniel on Tuesday said that Hunter Long had a really good training session last week, had a heart-to-heart with the tight end coach, and maybe we're going to see, more production from Hunter Long going forward. So, again, Mike Gesicki, is he, fancy question, is he someone you would draft? Second question, do you think he's better value to the Dolphins right now is a trade piece for a corner or offensive lineman?
That's where I was gonna go to.
We're still here.
Look at us. Look at us. Who would have thought?
Yeah, so Mike Gesicki in fantasy, I probably wouldn't touch him because we don't know what he's going to look like. What you said, we don't know what he's going to look like in this offense. We would hope that McDaniel would be able to use him like in that George Kittle role, but with preseason going along, we don't necessarily know that. And yeah, I think he could be used as a trade chip because he's on that franchise tag. If he would have signed a long-term contract, I think that he'd be definitely staying here. But because we don't know what he's going to look like in this offense and because he's on that tag, I think he is a potential trade chip.
So, oh man, everyone knows I love Mike Gesicki, and I hope we get this thing figured out. But I like winning fantasy football championships, and I can't draft Mike Gesicki. I can't. I'm going to Cole Kmet. I'm going to Dawson Knox. I'm going to everyone but Mike Gesicki right now in fantasy football. In real life, get me on the 10-yard line, I'm looking at Mike Gesicki all day in real life. Fantasy football, I can't do it. It's too many question marks. He doesn't look comfortable in the scheme. And I'm at the point now in real life where I'm like, I wonder if Mike Gesicki's on the team in week 7 in real life. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if he's on the team in week 7. I wonder if they don't move him for an O-line piece. I wonder if they don't move him for a backup corner. I wonder if they don't move him for a linebacker or even or another running back, right? So, yeah, we got Edmonds, Mostert, friend of the podcast, 40 Acres and a Hellcat. Sony Michelle is on the team. Dokes and Dr. White are rounding up, bringing up the rear. But what happens with Josh Jacobs? Is he going to get moved? What happens with David Montgomery? They got people behind David Montgomery. There's a lot of question marks out there when it comes to running back. No, I'm not interested in bringing Kenyon Drake back. But, man, if I'm a GM and I'm a GM of fantasy football, these are some real questions we need to answer. But that's where I am right now. And what was your team name last year in our league?
Finit, Tua, win it.
This guy. What was your team name, Kadeem?
Oh, I have no idea.
You don't know? I can probably find out.
You probably, yeah. Like the moment the season finished, I was like, I'm checked out. Not for me. So, what do you make of Skylar Thompson, Nick? Again, you was at the game. You saw that connection with Skylar Thompson. People are, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but the whole thing Twitter this week is like Skylar Thompson's QB2. Listen, there's some people saying, hey, just use Skylar Thompson as QB1, like Tua is done. Whatever. But what do you make of Skylar Thompson? How good was he? You saw him live in the flesh. And does he make the 53-man roster?
I think he looks good. I think he looks comfortable. But you also got to look at the competition he's going against. Do I think he could do that against ones? No. I think he would look a lot different. But he does look comfortable in this offense. And it's all going to depend on how many QBs McDaniel wants to keep on the roster. Because I think if he does put him on the practice squad, he may not make it there because another team might scoop him up based on what he's done so far in the preseason. So I think for that, McDaniel might keep him around on that 53-man roster.
So does that mean we keep him next year too and move on from Teddy?
Most likely.
Sheesh. Cold world. So Kadeem's fantasy football team name was just the Tua of us. Hey, you get points for that one, Kadeem.
Mm-hmm.
You all right with me, bro?
As you was talking, I got a notification on my phone saying ESPN Fantasy. I was like, what? And it said, yeah, the league up and running. And I was like, let me just leave this league so I get no notifications. Yeah. And, I'm not just saying this. I've played fantasy for, I think, 3 years, and I've won one league. Like, I don't know how I done it. I basically drafted.
What league are you winning, Kadeem? Who was in that league?
A bunch of friends. Like one of my friends who's at the Athletic, my friend Tom Valentine, who writes for Gridiron, which is the UK NFL magazine, comes out monthly. Like there's some guys in there, and I won. But the thing is, like I won it basically having Lamar Jackson at running back, and I had like a bunch of tight ends that quarterback.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
Apologies.
This guy.
Lamar Jackson the quarterback. I had like a bunch of tight ends like Mark Andrews and other people, and they just went off, and I managed to win the league again without paying attention. Like it got to the season, they were like, "How does Kadeem win?" And I was like, "I don't know, but yeah." So I won that league.
Kadeem had dropped a little. Oh, I got friends at the Athletic. I got friends at Gridiron. Like, I see you, Kadeem. You had to draw a little name drop. Okay, I see you. Look, man, y'all come on over to bonus time. Before we go to bonus time, though, if you want to play in the Go Time Dolphins Fantasy Football League, all you have to do is send us a message, email us at gotimedolphins@gmail.com. gotimedolphins@gmail.com. In the subject, put fantasy football. All right. Just put in the subject fantasy football, and all the stuff in the message is cool. There's no requirements. Just as long as it's in the subject, we'll be able to find it easier, and we'll get everybody in the league. This will be a pretty fun league. Come with the creative names. Again, if you want to play in our fantasy football league, gotimedolphins@gmail.com. Put it in the subject fantasy football. We're about to go into bonus time, talk about the defense and other pieces that might be sneaky for fantasy football and the Miami Dolphins. And we appreciate the returning champion of the Go Time Dolphins Fantasy Football League coming on the podcast and chopping it up with us. I don't remember running into you at the schoolhouse, but it's cool. And you know what? I got to say this. I remember being at that school, bro. And after I graduated, you know, you said we were at Fendetta's crib, and you must have seen me, and I was doing a video shoot and stuff. You, like, I remember you from maybe Facebook or maybe even MySpace or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was something. It was like, I remember the name, right? And I'm like, hey, dude's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? And you may have commented on a video before. Like, listen, elephant. Memory of an elephant, Kadeem. Remember that. Dog. And then the podcast came out. And we just started the podcast. And I remember, you're a Heat fan, right?
Yep.
I'm telling you, bro. And I'm like, yo, dude is a Miami fan. You feel me? And when we started the podcast, I seen your name again, bro. I'm like, yo, who is this? Do I know this dude? Right? True story. I'm like, do I know this dude? And am I tripping for not remembering him? You know what I'm saying? So I think one time we had we corresponded, and you must have said something to me. And I said, look, bro, I see you around all the time on social media. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? And then I had to reach out and say, bro, do we know each other, bro? Because I'm sorry, I don't remember high school. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man. So I just wanted to tell you while we on air, bro. Like we really rock with you, man. We appreciate you the way you rock with us, man. And I know, like, I'm talking about different chapters. You see me in different chapters of my life. You see me when I actually was doing tours and making music and was on the radio. You see me post music. You see me now with this podcast. And I appreciate you, Holmes.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Seriously. You guys make my days better when I get to drive to and from work listening to you guys. So I appreciate everything you guys do.
Hey, to and from work? That's what's up, man. Hey, we appreciate that, man. Look at this. Hey. Yeah, look at this guy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, tell everybody where they can find you at and on social media.
Yeah, it's on Twitter. You can find me at it's Kerr, not Care with a K. Facebook, Nicholas Kerr.
Hey, y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative. For Nick Kerr, Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time.
Before we delve into further stuff about fantasy football, Nick, is that so? If you're not listening, if you're not watching on YouTube, you know, where have you been? Like 500 subs, come join the party. Is that a photo of you two up behind you?
Yes, it is.
This guy just got vision of two. It's like, yeah, just chilling.
Yeah, so it was probably about a month ago. He had a signing at over in Davie, and I went, got to meet him. There was this like long line for the meet and greet, and as soon as you get in the door, I'm thinking there's like another line. But as soon as I get in there, they're like, "Oh, it's your turn." So they throw me right up there with Tua, and I was just starstruck. I'm like, the only thing that come out of my mouth is "Yo."
Bro, someone's gonna listen to this podcast, and all they gathered from that was Tua don't even got fans waiting on him to sign.
No, it was packed. I had to wait probably about an hour, and I got there early to get actually in the meet and greet line. And then there was a separate line for all the autographs.
Yeah.
And you know these South Florida summers, it was hot out there.
Hey, listen, man, I'm gonna be real with you. If I ever see Tua, it's bad because I'm gonna be fanboy 101. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna react to that, bro. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna react. Like, listen, I don't get starstruck. I've worked with a lot of people. I have people in my phone. I don't get starstruck, bro. If I come across Tua, I don't know how I'm gonna act. I don't know how I'm at.
It's funny because when I met him, you know, it's just what you do. When I met him last October in London, he looks like he's fit, he's athletic, but you've probably seen him now, and he looks like even more buff. Like it's crazy his transformation from year to year. And when I saw him, when he kind of like walked up to the podium, I went to be like, dude, like sign everything I'm wearing right now. I don't care what it is. You know, obviously I'm professional, you know, asking questions and stuff like that. But yeah, I had to say something once I noticed it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. What are you, Charlie?
I was about to say Dolphins defense.
Yeah.
This guy. It's a go or a no-go for us in fantasy football this year.
I always love taking the Dolphins defense. It's always a go for me.
There was a year where they were money. There was like, I guess it was 2020, I guess. When they were just money. It was X. It was X had that year. So yeah, we were putting up 20 points in fantasy. Like, yo, I need this. You know what I'm saying? So they were actually around for me this year, and I didn't take them. I took the Chargers defense. Dang, no way ain't say nothing. Like, y'all ain't gotta chill, bro.
No, because like it's funny. So Eagles, for whatever reason, Eagles fans are kind of going that Eagles have the better team, they've got the better wide receivers, all this kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, you guys need to chill, stop. But this Dolphins defense, like Charlie said, it's quite top heavy, especially at corner. What do you make of just to Nick? What do you make of the safeties, Brandon Jones, friend of the podcast, Javon Holland? But also, do you reckon we need to bolster our linebacker, even though we added Channing Tindall? Do you reckon we're kind of still missing a linebacker piece?
I think picking up Channing Tindall was good, but I think we still probably do need some more depth help there. And then I think we just need some depth help at linebacker as well.
Hey, listen, I got this. I'm gonna need one person from everybody, and we're gonna call it a day. One sleeper for the Dolphins in fantasy football this year. And just so no one takes my pick, I'm going with Cedric Wilson. So Cedric Wilson is a sleeper. He's undrafted in fantasy football right now. And I think you can find him on waivers for cheap. Well, I'm in a fab budget league, so but yeah, you can find him in waivers all day and day. But who's your sleeper for fantasy football from the Miami Dolphins, Nick?
Maybe go with a Durham Smythe because we don't know what's going to happen with Mike Gesicki. I just stole Kadeem's.
Yeah, like I don't think the Dolphins have many sleepers, and it's like who's going to be that tight end piece? And I was going to go with Durham Smythe. I think a wide receivers like Waddle and Hill aren't sleepers. Cedric Wilson is already taken. I think he will, as the season develops, will kind of get more reps, but I don't think he'll be a red zone target. So I'm gonna have to, go with our guess and go with Durham Smythe because there's a lot of unknowns. Like you said, at running back and at tight end, it's just going to be an absolute mess. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Durham Smythe.
And although we don't know what's going on with running back, don't sleep on Edmonds to have a breakout.